there, what could you say to them? What gave you that drive?
Well, first things first, can't be scared. And anything in life worth doing is risky. Unless you want to, plug into the matrix and, work a 40-hour job and take your 2 breaks. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's stability. Take your 2 breaks in your lunch hour, do that. Or do that and then pursue something that your passion is telling you need to be doing until it sustains you. You can walk the fine line, the tightrope. There are comics in this industry who still have day jobs or other occupations, whether it's car salesman or Uber on the side to supplement your dream. But if your passion is telling you that you have the ability and you have the dedication to do it, then try it. The worst thing can happen is you go back to your day job or you go back to drive an Uber or whatever what you were doing to sustain yourself. Now, a lot of times we're limited by circumstances. We all got bills. Some people have families, so it can stifle your dream. But just imagine the possibility. First of all, you have to always be thinking, and I've heard this recently on a meme or something, that you got to have your expectations overwhelmingly positive so that you're not defeating yourself mentally on a daily basis. Because we all going to have pitfalls. I make it look good that I've been doing comedy straight 31 years, but it's been some lean times in between, and I tried to figure it out. If you depend on your gift to eat, it will find a way for you. And that's what I've been relying on for 30 years plus in a row. I rely on my gift. I have faith in my ability. I have faith in the universe that if I keep putting out good energy, good work toward a good cause, that I should have a good result.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new epi, searching for a fade fiend, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talk your wisdom out. Episode 200, Damon is the man, with our guest, Damon Williams. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? Glad to be here and looking forward to this interview.
Yo, I'm really excited myself. I got to know one thing though, before we get started. Where are you at right now? Where are you at? I'm going to guess. I'm going to say you in Jacksonville, Florida.
I'm going to say you guess way off. But where I am feels like Florida. I'm in Chicago, and summertime Chi is a beautiful thing and a beautiful place to be. So I'm actually sitting right outside my door, finally able to do outdoor activities because we got Cicadaville for the first couple of weeks or 6 weeks of summer. So now they're quiet enough for us to do this interview, and I didn't want to be in the house right now.
Yo, because that's some good lighting, man. That it's bright. That's why I went to Florida. You just changed all of our travel plans for the rest of the summer. If it's light bright like that out there in Chicago, man, we doing this.
Yes, sir.
Yo, is that where you're from?
Yeah, born and raised Chicago. And if you come in the summer, man, it's almost like being in Miami. It's our lakefront is 71 miles of coastline throughout the Chicagoland area in Illinois. Beaches, high-rise boating, some jet skis, everything you want from a summer destination is right here in Chicago. And you just pick your spots nicely and you'll be just fine.
Yo, Damon, tell them cats that may not know, tell them about that Taste of Chicago. What's up with that Taste of Chicago?
Well, the Taste of Chicago evolved because of our great restaurants, man. I'm speaking like this because I feel like I'm almost an ambassador for my hometown because, we get a bad rap. They only show the negative aspects of it. But crime and violence is everywhere. And anywhere you got poverty, you're going to have crime, you're going to have violence. Sometimes we might be in the lead, but actually the tide is changing on that because that whole generation of guys that were in opposition with each other, they're actually getting older and they realizing that they want to grow up and see their families and do what they need to do. So that being said, the Taste of Chicago is now a scaled down version of what used to be like a 2-week food fest with great concerts. Now it's really held like one weekend of the month in the summer. And, we still have the restaurants, they have the live bands and live music. And it's a beautiful thing.
Damon, you know what? I gotta do this, dog. I gotta know the answer to this one. I might have just lost them on this question, people, but I gotta know: Cubs or White Sox?
Well, first of all, I don't really do baseball because it's too slow. They need a clock or something to speed it up. Anytime you got a built-in yawn in the game, when you got to stand up and stretch because y'all might be asleep, then that's not really exciting, But being a South Sider, I always would say White Sox would be my answer to that question. The White Sox have represented, where I'm from more so than the Cubs, and Wrigleyville and the area that Wrigley Field is located in was not always the friendly confines when it comes to black people. So I don't really mess around with the Cubs, the organization, or the location.
Yo, we got to do this one while we here. We got to do this one too. We gonna do two more. Let's get this first one. What's up with the new Bears quarterback? You riding or you jumping off? You wait until next? You with the rookie?
Hey, with Chicagoland sports in general, man, you just got to ride the wave because we've had our ups. The Blackhawks have won, the Cubs have won, the Sox have won, of course, the Bulls run, and then we're due for a drought. The Bears won once in '85. They went back to the Super Bowl in the 2000s, did not win, but Bears for life. So whatever they rolling with, I got to roll with it. And I'm going to get up on Sunday optimistically watching the game in my gear. I'm traveling with the Bears Nation when they go places occasionally. And my wife doesn't understand the loyalty. But yes, I'm down with the Bears no matter which direction they take it.
All right, so this is the last one. Damon. I appreciate you doing this. He's like, man, I know I was going to have to talk about the hometown so much. But then you said maybe you don't mind being the ambassador. But though,
not at all.
We got to know, man. When y'all getting a dome, man, why can't y'all have a dome? It's not like y'all get earthquakes. Why can't y'all get a dome?
Actually, they posted a rendering of what they proposed to be the next stadium, which will be a dome campus. Not only a dome, but it'll maintain the original facade within the campus, park space, green space, right on the lakefront, because we were looking at a suburb far out, Arlington Heights, which is what it's called. That plan has so far been scratched. I've actually talked to the mayor and actually sat in a room with he and the Bears president for an event. And it looks like the dome is what the next move is. It should have been the move when they revamped the stadium years ago. But, Chicago is a blue collar, suck it up, grubby, grimy city. And they wanted to keep the original flavor and also the advantage of being a winter city when warm weather teams come to town. However, most NFL players are coming from Florida and Georgia anyway, so it's not like our players will be ready for this winter either. So it's better for the fans, it's better for revenue because we can have concerts, year round. And I just think you're right. We way overdue and past due for domes. I visited the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and the new Raiders Stadium, and it's state of the art, and it just makes sense. It's dumb to be outdoors in Chicago in the winter, and it'll heighten our chances of getting a Super Bowl.
When it's 2024, when the elements are out, we all can't be on our camera phones, bringing other people into the experience. That's where I've always said the technology piece. You can't have everybody. You can't be the comfort of enjoying it isn't there because that's where we at in 2024, dog. You got if you perform live, you've been at concerts. Everybody got had a phone up, capturing the moment instead of being in the moment. But that's where we at, whether we like that or not. And everybody got to stream it. Everybody got to show that we at the game. That's what we got to do.
Exactly.
Yo, Mr. Williams, I want to say, my last name is Washington. Let me tell you, the number one people when they forget my last name, they call me Williams. They always mess that up. That's the number one name they go to. So I got to know, are y'all all from, how many generations go back in Chicago?
Well, now you're getting into a tricky area because my bloodline is Wilborn, which is my biological father, who was not able to raise me until I was around 12 years old when he came into my life. And that he is a Chicagoan born and raised, and my grandmother is Chicago born and raised. Then it comes from the South. So on my father's side, we got a lot of family in St. Louis, and then I believe the origin may state back into I would have to say Louisiana and maybe even Louisville, but I have to do the research on it.
Okay. Who do y'all rep as the number one person when you be like, yo, Chi-Town, Chicago, baby? When you say that, who is the number one person you would bring up if you was in an argument with Donato from the DMV area? I bring up Allen Iverson. It ain't got to be an athlete. I'm gonna say you gonna say You're gonna say Quincy Jones.
Quincy's a big one, but he's been gone so long that people don't really realize and associate him. So me being me knowing who I know, I'm going with Bernie Mac. You know,
Oh,
Bernie Mac is an authentic Chicago dude. Period.
yeah.
He's the quintessential black man from Chicago in every aspect of the game. Now, who else is from Chicago that's notable or could be mentioned? Common and Kanye.
Yep.
Jennifer Hudson is an Oscar winner. So those are these are all contemporary people. Dating back though, besides Quincy Jones, that's a great question. I'm going with Bernie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
I wanna get into a little house music. Again, some people, this is new. This Chi-Town talk might be new for a lot of people. Because it ain't on a destination, bro. Everybody going down south, Miami, they going to some water. You just said 71 miles of coastline. So we might be changing summer plans here. Man, yes. I need to know, Damon. When we talking Chi-Town, y'all have this different vibe when it comes to music, and basically house music is different, dog. It's different. I have been going to Chicago a lot since 2008, and the hospitality's off the chain, by the way. I remember I was out in one of y'all squares during lunchtime, and there was a live DJ, and people had you could tell they was, like you were saying, yawning. You could see they stretching, wiping the cold out their eyes because they was indoors at work for the last 4 or 5 hours. They went this midday magic. It was during the summer. And Pats was dancing in the middle of one of them office squares. Y'all different, man.
I mean, house is truly ingrained in our culture here. Matter of fact, I just hosted a huge house celebration Sunday. I was on a cruise ship prior to that. I flew home specifically to be here because the Millennium Park and the band shell that is out there, which is a big orchestra band shell outdoors, celebrated its 20th anniversary. And so they allowed Common to do a live performance Saturday with an orchestra. And then Sunday, we had House with Steve Hurley, who's produced multiple artists, including Robin S., CeCe Peniston, Ann Nesby. These are all people that were in attendance. Selena Johnson. It was so many. Robin S., Shantae Savage. These are international house stars, and we all came together. And I was one of the hosts. And it was a beautiful day in Chicago, outdoors, out in the beautiful nature. So house music is one thing, but there are factions. So we also have stepping, and steppers are entirely different vibes, entirely different attire, and some people overlap. But it's two different, really complete, distinct communities that our music generates. And now, just recently, Cameron acknowledged the fact that a lot of great hip hop lyricists are from Chicago. That's underrated. If you think about Common and Twista and Kanye, some of the greatest verses out there have come from some Chicago guys. Even the Do or Die and the Crucial Conflicts, and it goes on and on. The Brat. So we're a diverse culture, man. We're a diverse community, and it's much better than you think. It's a clean city, and it is relatively safe in comparison to what the news might tell you.
I'm glad you brought up the Brat. I was telling somebody the other day. So I had Cool Rock Ski on, and he don't like to get into the top 5. But when I was talking about my top 5, I put MC Lyte in my top 5. But I would love in another conversation to always tell people, I think if the Brat wouldn't have gone to jail, and if she still wanted to rap right now, I think the Brat could have challenged anybody for one of the best female rappers, and she would have been in some of the most overall. What were your thoughts on the Brat? And she walked away from the game. I don't think she's recording right now, but hey, can you back me on it?
Yeah, the Brat came out guns blazing, man. No pun intended. But she was hot, and she came hard. I mean, it wasn't like listening to a woman rap. It was like listening to a rapper. And of course, it's now been revealed that it's not a very feminine thing for her to do, but she is she's a Chicago original. She's a cold hearted West Side Chicago, cold-blooded rapper, and that's all we can say about her. The fact that she's elevated her game and evolved to go other places and to be on radio and and to live her life and flourish. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of the Brett from the 60644, and much love to her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I put her up there with anybody if she wanted to extend that career. All right.
Yeah, I mean, she was on the track with Biggie. You know, she went head to head with Biggie. So that's the ultimate for me.
She had range. She jumped on that Sock It To Me joint with Missy. I mean, she had range. Everybody wanted her. She could have done anything. I want to. You mentioned another Chicago rapper because let's talk about your people and the shine that they should be getting. I saw something the other day. Eminem broke a record for most syllables in a flow. And as soon as I read that off, it was on social media. I said that to my wife, and my wife is like, I think that's her number one rapper of all time. But then the first thing she said is, "Oh, he was faster than Twister." Like she didn't really believe it. So can we say we might need to go? I think it was that song Monster, but can we say it? That if Twister wanted that title, he probably could go get that.
I feel like he might even have at one point hit the Guinness book for his proficiency in syllables and rap and rhyme. So I don't know what song they used an example for Eminem, and he might have did it on one particular song, but Twister consistently has done it and continues to do it. And when he spit a cappella, it's coherent. It's clear. You understand what he's saying.
Yes.
So to the point where if you listen to it 1,000 times, maybe you can get it and rap it yourself. You know what I mean? No, just Eminem.
That tape pop. I'm gonna stop, listen to it, rewind the tape.
Indeed, but I mean, no diss to Eminem. He's a phenomenal rapper as well. I just don't think if it was put to a test, if Twister had to go word for word, syllable for syllable, he would dust Eminem and have some things to say within the verses.
Oh yeah. Yo, Damon, I know that you have done a lot of comedy. Let's go back and let's start a little bit. People can learn a little bit about you. Yo, was you the funny dude in high school? Like, did you get voted funniest, funny bone? How close were you to that?
No, not at all, man. And I get this question kind of often because people think most comedians were class clowns and you found your calling because you were silly. Really and truly, man, I was a middle child growing up most of my life till my fourth sibling, the fourth of us, was born. And, I was just basically average in class. I was humorous, but I wasn't trying to shine. I wasn't, I might have pulled a couple of pranks here and there, but beyond that, no. I didn't really come into my own humorously until I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I had a job at City Hall. And this was during the emergence of Eddie Murphy. And Eddie and 48 Hours and that whole era was so prevalent that a lot of guys probably inadvertently mimicked Eddie Murphy. But I did notice that people would laugh at my observations a lot. And they're like, "You're just so funny, you're so funny." And I'm like, "Okay, y'all think so, cool." So then I decided after Def Comedy Jam hit that it was an opportunity for occupation, because prior to that, you went to a comedy club in Chicago. It was, boring white guys talking about unrelatable material to us. And there were no examples of the contrary, except they would have, one or two mainstream black comedians like the guy from Police Academy or, the closest they came to even edgy might have been Sinbad, and Sinbad was letting them have it early on. But, the Cosbys and the Franklin Ajayi, these are people you might see on late night TV, but it didn't seem plausible or feasible for me to even think about doing it. But once Def Comedy Jam hit and I saw Martin with the swag, then I saw people from Chicago like Kenny Howe, Bernie Mac, Adele Givens, George Wilborn, hit the stage straight from the block to HBO. I knew it could be done.
Yo, what the family say, man? What your mama and them say when you said, "Yo, I'm gonna do this comedy thing"? Because most black mamas, they telling you to go the other way. Baby, don't you got that job at City Hall? You better go on back to City Hall.
If you did your research, then you're quite correct, because that was an exact statement from my mother, but not about comedy. I was working at City Hall literally for 5 years, and I wanted to do a franchise. And I went out on a limb to go out and try to seek a franchise. Actually, my initial attempt would have been a fishery, a place called Solomon's Fisheries. Now, here's the backstory on that. Solomon's Fisheries had about 3 or 4 locations in the city. They believed in, almost not halal, but, clean fish as that's concerned as far as, anyway. So I thought it was a great choice for our community and for me as an opportunity. And I got to the finish line of finding a location and getting in touch with the owner of the franchise, but the location, the building wouldn't allow me to bring in the deep fryers. But that owner of the Solomon's Fishery and the founder was the singer I just mentioned, Selena Johnson from All Falls Down with Kanye. Her father, her father is Seal Johnson, where he rests, blues singer who made a song called Fine Brown Frame. He was the franchise owner, and he was going to allow me to be one of his franchisees. And I just had a chance to tell Selena's sister part of that story this Sunday when she came to town. So yeah, once I decided that the franchise wasn't working, I eventually went from not doing the Solomons to opening a Subway. I had a Subway for 2 years downtown Chicago. That wasn't working out financially, so I got out of it. Heard some people talking about open mic, and at this point, nobody could really say, well, you taking a leap of faith or you giving up something sure, because I wasn't. I was just transitioning to the next thing. I tried rap for a quick second. I had a 5-song EP, which one of the songs was produced by Steve Hurley, who full circle was the host of this event we just did, and we didn't get a chance to play it because I wanted to play it. It's a song called "Don't Bite the Dust," and it's a sample of "Another One Bites the Dust" by Queen. So nobody was tripping. I've always been, jumping around from this to that. I only had one main job, and that was at City Hall for 5+ years. Then I became an entrepreneur. So, from Subway to stand up to radio to TV and comedy. And that's all one nutshell. So now I'm a multifaceted guy when it comes to that. I still do a little radio with D.L. Hughley every Wednesday. You can catch my thoughts on a feature called That's What I Think. Yep. And I do that also with a local Cleveland station, my man Sam Silk from Chicago on WZAK every Tuesday and Thursday. So I love that muscle, the radio vibe. I just prefer stand-up as the primary source of my creativity because of the live feedback and, the gate sales.
Yo, what about for the young brothers and sisters out there? Man, we know, man, we can hold some attention. And a couple people then gave us that compliment that we funny, like you said. What could you say to them so that they could gain your entrepreneurial spirit, to get that confidence? So you could, I mentioned it off air with you, but so you could be that battery in their back to finally maybe go give it. Because brother, that's a scary thing to try to step out there. What could you say to them? What gave you that drive?
Well, first things first, can't be scared. And anything in life worth doing is risky, unless you want to, plug into the matrix and, work a 40-hour job and take your 2 breaks. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's stability. Take your 2 breaks in your lunch hour. Do that, or do that and then pursue something that your passion is telling you need to be doing until it sustains you. You can walk the fine line, the tightrope. There are comics in this industry who still have day jobs or other occupations, whether it's, car salesman or Uber on the side to supplement your dream. But if your passion is telling you that you have the ability and you have the dedication to do it, then try it. The worst thing can happen is you go back to your day job or you go back to drive an Uber, what you were doing to sustain yourself. Now, a lot of times we're limited by circumstances. We all got bills. Some people have families, so it can stifle your dream. But just imagine the possibility. First of all, you have to always be thinking, and I've heard this recently on a meme or something, that you got to have your expectations overwhelmingly positive, so that you're not defeating yourself mentally on a daily basis. Because we all gonna have pitfalls. I make it look good that I've been doing comedy straight 31 years, but it's been some lean times in between, and I tried to figure it out. But if you depend on your gift to eat, it will find a way for you. And that's what I've been relying on for 30 years plus in a row. I rely on my gift. I have faith in my ability. I have faith in the universe that if I keep putting out good energy, good work toward a good cause, that I should have a good result.
Yo, I got to go back to Chi-Town just right quick. There was another one I left on there, man. I got to get this one. is the greatest basketball player out of Chicago. Hold on now. Give me a second here. Quentin Richardson? Is he from Chicago?
Yeah, I think he was from here. But if you want to, are we talking native Chicagoans that made it to the NBA or people that played for the Bulls?
Oh, I was gonna say to the NBA.
Well, I could give you right off the top, probably the top 5: Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose, D Wade, Mark Aguirre, Terry Cummings.
Oh,
these are natives of Chicago. Now there are many more. You know, right now AD is with Shaq. I mean, with the Lakers. You know, and he's a Chicago native. And there are many more, but right out the gate, you know, you got to go with Isaiah, who I really despised as a player because he was an op, but he a straight Chicago dude. So I got to give his props. And I couldn't leave out Tim Hardaway.
Wait, UTEP two-step.
UTEP two-step right here, and his son playing in the league right now. So these are Chicago native ballers.
Yo, I was this many days old. I thought he was like a Southern boy. If you would have told me he's from Texas, so he went all the way to El Paso. I guess maybe to get away from y'all's cold weather, or it was the only offer he got. Maybe because
you got to go with who wants you. Yeah. Still so Tim Hardaway, man. Terry Cummings is a forgotten hero of Chicago who was a super baller. Yeah. Mark Aguirre, you know, he's a champion, along with Isaiah Thomas. They West Side guys. So, and there are many more. His brother named Ronnie Fields, who had a tragic injury or he would have been a superstar player. He was a teammate of Kevin Garnett when they were in high school here, because Garnett played here as a high school player, but he's not a native.
Yeah, I think he's from South Carolina, though. I think that's where
somewhere elsewhere.
Like that. but I didn't know y'all had a 7-footer though. Y'all, when you brought out AD, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and I can't forget Antoine Walker. I almost did that. Antoine Walker was a baller in his day, you know. So these are great Chicago ball players, man.
And he went to Boston. Yo, that's got to be tough. Is that okay? How hard is that? You know, where I'm from, we get behind our guy and we become bandwagon people because we ain't got nothing like where I'm from. Right. I told you Iverson. I lived with my high school. I had Joe Smith, and Iverson was down the block. So I didn't like Allen Iverson because our guy was Joe Smith. He go get 30 and 10 and won't be on the front page because Bubba Chuck done went and got 40. 9 assists, 6 steals. And so I was like, man, I ain't here for Iverson until he made it to the league in Georgetown. And, you know, so was that hard? Because, yo, you just dropped some names, man. Aside from Derrick Rose, I know he went to Chicago. Yo, is that hard to not root for those guys, especially when, like, Antoine Walker was with the Celtics? That's East.
Yeah, well, that's our rival. But I was happy to see him win. And at that time, I don't think we were prominent as far as having an opportunity, because after the championship run, we fell way off, you know. But, you know, I never stopped representing the Bulls. I'm repping them right now. This is a Bulls shirt I'm wearing. But you have to still root. First of all, I knew Antoine, so I'm definitely going to root for Antoine Walker. But D Wade, when he was with the Heat, man, I definitely was riding with the Heat during that run. So it's not hard to root for your rivals if that hometown person was true and genuine to the city. You know, came home, gave back. You saw them in the summer. They had camps. You know, all these cats. Michael Finley is another guy who always came home and gave back. He's now a major figure with the Dallas Mavericks. He's the president of the Mavericks, matter of fact. Can't forget Mike Finley. My son was a junior baller. And so he attended all of these camps. So we got a chance up close and personal to meet some of these guys, you know. So, you know, a lot of good guys came out of Chicago, man, and more than I'm even overlooking.
Yo, don't say nobody else, Damon. Yo, y'all get in the comments. Damon, yo, you just put together. I don't even know how you're going to decide who the starting 5 is. Man, I might put that starting 5.
I could throw in Maggette, the Brown boys, you know. Yeah, you know, so we might have a full 12 I could drop out here.
I see, man. Yo, y'all are deep, man. I didn't see. can of worms, man. I opened up a can of worms. I wasn't ready for that. Okay, let's go to another thing. I want to know. You've been in the game for a while. We all know the whole Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay. We know that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you, though. What would your peers say about you? 31 years in the comedy game. What would they say? What have you heard?
I've literally heard only because there's a very creative brother here in Chicago named Jay Davis, and he has a partner, Omar, that are creating a buzz and works out of Chicago sketches. We have a series on Tubi called Creative Hustle with all Chicago artists. They recently created a Chicago award called the Bernie Mac Lifetime Achievement Award, which I was the first recipient of. And
congrats.
Yeah. So a lot of people sent in videos and chimed in. And the number one sentiment I would say is I helped others. I provided a platform. I was always helpful toward others launching their careers. I mean, I literally introduced the mic to a lot of people. I'll tell you a couple people, notable names that got their mic straight from me the first time, including D-Ray Davis, Corey Holcomb, actually. Yep. I hosted all of the rooms in Chicago at the time. I got the mic directly from Adele Givens. But and there's a plethora of people who came through my platforms. You know, D-Ray really created Lil Rel. So the lineage is there. And those are some of the most notable. But, you know, there are people out of Chicago that are doing big things still to this day, like Leon Rogers, Marcus Combs, may he rest in peace. Tony Schofield, Deion Cole, B. Cole, we all come up together. J. Deep, you know, Sonia D. These are all people that, you know, I've been instrumental or beneficial in some way of maybe giving them the link to get them on Comic View. I took 26 Chicago comedians to Comic View one year because I did a mass audition on one VHS tape to keep them from having to decipher between the individual tapes. I said, here's the Chicago tape. And they went through that tape, man, and picked maybe 25, 26 people. You know, it's a lot of names that I'm unfortunately leaving off. But, you know, if you look through the history of Chicago comedy, then, you know, they give me the mantle of, the torchbearer after Bernie.
Yo, I told you I've been coming to Chicago since 08, just about every year. I'm at a motorcycle club. We got a chapter out there. And I don't even have to pay for hotel rooms, man. That's about that Chicago hospitality. And my Chicago people be fighting over who I'm going to stay with. That's how hospitable it is. And I don't know if anybody could ever say that about anything else. Like, literally, they look like they want to fight. And they tell me, no, you staying here. They didn't take me to a lot of clubs. I like to dance. Y'all, people don't be holding up walls in Chicago. The places they've been taking me, people dance. So I'm curious, Damon. You a DJ, and I ain't gonna paint you to the corner. I don't know if you've done that before, but okay. So you gotta start the party. What's the song you gonna play in your hometown that you know is gonna get these cats on the dance floor?
Depending on the age of the people, right? Okay. So,
they are age. They were. I was born in the 70s. I'll put that out there. I was born in the 70s.
Well, I mean, you know what you could do in Chicago to get the crowd going? Anything Parliament Funkadelic right away. I'm talking Knee Deep or Flashlight, and it's up. But there's also songs like the house tracks. You know, the house heads. One song called Hey Hey. I can't understand it. I can't go for that with Womack and Womack. You know, that's gonna get the people out there. So I'm trying to keep it Chicago specific in ways that answer this question. You Ain't Really Down. If you play Said You Was My Lady and Your Love Was True, it's up from there. Like, that's a go-to. Or Crucial Conflict Rodeo, Ride the Rodeo. In Chicago, if you play Ride the Rodeo, it's popping off. Yo, because that song is a combination of hip hop, our skate culture with the JB's sound, and the JB's 70s sound is somewhat house. So that's the quintessential song that would definitely get the party started.
See, you showing off right now, Damon. You showing off, man. I thought we all thought you was gonna take the whole plethora of songs, the whole catalog. You said, "No, I'm gonna keep this Chi-Town." So respect, brother. And you got the little we got the Shazams and the Google fingers working at this. Cats want to go check that now. Yeah, yo, we gonna do that. I'm gonna do that playlist, and then I'm gonna tell everybody. I got a homie in matter of fact, he was 2 episodes ago. He's from Chicago. He's living here in Austin with me, and I'm put this little playlist together. Next time we around, put this up, and I know he's gonna do that. I know he's gonna do that. So I appreciate it.
Yep. No doubt.
You know what? Maybe I give you a shout out, Damon. Maybe I say you help me with that.
Or maybe he's a fan and he'll see this.
He better, man. Yo.
That's my point. Yeah.
I appreciate what you did.
You got to drop it before this episode drops.
I better. I'm having fun, man. I'm gonna edit this one pretty quick. I gotta get this one out there. Yeah. Hey, so Damon, with 31 years in the game, and you said yourself, you like flexing that muscle, doing a little radio. Yo, what's next, man? Like, what would be a goal that maybe you haven't achieved yet that you want to do? What would that be?
I mean, I headline comedy clubs when I'm booked now, but I would love to do a nationally headline theater tour initially, 2,000 seats, where I know I can put just my name on the marquee, even though I'm going to always bring support acts because I'm always trying to support other acts. But to be able to say Damon Williams is coming to your city and sell, the Apollo Theater in New York, the Chicago Theater in Chicago, the Fox Theaters in Atlanta, Detroit, these type of things, that St. Louis, these are the immediate goals. And then, of course, just to do good work, keep people laughing, film and television projects. I have a series already that's on Tubi that started on UrbanFlix called Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams. It's actually 8 episodes where I do this first. We sit down and interview the comedians, and then they do a mini special. And it's 3 comedians per episode, 8 episodes, 24 comics. I like to do more of that because I was executive producer, writer, producer, host, artist on that show. So that muscle, being behind the scenes, behind the camera, but creating still the same vibe and laughter and events, because I don't consider myself doing comedy shows. I like to produce comedy events. And so an event can incorporate music, like I do a City Winery series here in Chicago, where I open the show with a live band, just to give people that concert feel, and to kind of duplicate what maybe Bernie did or even Eddie did with the Bus Boys. That was his traveling band. So things like that. These are the immediate goals. And then just travel, man, and bring laughter and joy, see the world, and tell some jokes.
Where are you trying to go outside of continental the U.S.? Maybe you ain't been before, or you heard that we are well received over there. Where would you go then? I got a jet, and I'm gonna give it to you. It's gassed up. You could take it wherever you want. Where you gonna go, Damon?
You're gonna need a lot of gas because I want to go to Australia. That's the furthest reaching place I would love for my comedy to catch on. If I could get to Australia for stand up, but then we're gonna pop over to Europe. We're gonna hit Amsterdam. We definitely, because I've never been to Amsterdam. I've been a lot of places. I've been to most parts of Italy and France. I've been through Germany. I've been through the UK. I haven't been to Asia, and I've been to only South Africa. So I'm definitely going to Ghana, because the scene is already waiting. I like to perform in Joburg, but then, Kenya, all of the African countries on the continent that we could get cracking. But then I'd like to go some places like Turkey, Bora Bora, just for the leisure part of it. Greece, of course. What I'm not big on, and I know they pay, and I know it'll be a great experience, and they probably already set up, is Dubai. It seems so cliche to me, even though it seems magnificent and amazing and technologically advanced. I'd rather go to Japan or China before I would go someplace like Dubai, just because of the culture difference.
Yeah, I get that.
But if anybody out there want to bring me to Dubai, I ain't turning down the flight. I still got my passport.
Yeah. What if they even if they're gonna have you perform on the 190th floor of the Khalif Burj? Is that the tallest joint that's over there?
Well, yeah, I'm not really familiar with the titles of those places, but I know they exist. It looks like a magical place. But the people that I see going to Dubai, maybe that's what it is. It's just hood cliche. You know what I mean? Now I will
Yeah,
go
yeah,
and I'll probably see it, but it's not on my top of my list. Australia would be on the top of my list, and then anywhere in the the Indies. As far as I've done a lot of Caribbean stuff, but I still haven't been to Tahiti or the Bora Boras and then the Thailand and things of that nature. So it's a great big world out there, and it's plenty more left to see.
What if a dude named Henrik wants you to come to Iceland? Would you go do a show in Iceland?
I heard good things about Iceland, man.
Yo,
Maybe
too.
from a bad source, but but yeah, if you watch Billions, man, which was a show about billionaires, they would jet up to Iceland, and meet the models and do all that. It's Brazil I haven't been to yet, so it's a lot of places I want to go that now have a different lure because I'm married. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm gonna pick the aesthetic and the weather and the locale versus the culture and the people as my choices. So that's where we are with that. I'm fortunate to be doing a French river cruise this month, or in August, for 14 days on the French Riviera, the French River, all over there, with 3 nights in Paris, and that's done by Festival at Sea, which is a black cruise or travel group. Which I just finished their Caribbean cruise, which is their main, flagship event. But this is a smaller, more exclusive event that they're doing. And I'm doing my Martha's Vineyard Comedy Festival for the 14th year, which begins in August as well. So those things are travel destination shows where people can come and attend. But I like to move around.
Yo, you and me both. I used to live in Boston. I know about that. I know about the Vineyard.
And, Vineyard, yeah. It's not the Hamptons, people. That's outside of New York.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we was talking about the Celtics. I was there when they won that championship in 07, 08. The Paul Pierce, the Garnett and Rondo. That was the first championship parade I ever been to. Matter of fact.
Well, I'm in Chicago. We got real used to championship parades at one point. Yeah.
I wouldn't know none about it. I'm a lifelong Washington Bullets, Washington Wizards fan. The Commanders, you know what I mean? It's been a while since I done.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you had a black quarterback win back then. So
Doug Williams, man. I had him on this pie, and cool brother. Matter of fact, I'm glad they also get, he's in the front office. They gave him a position in the front office over there.
That's great.
They doing it right. They doing it right.
Great.
Okay. If you had an opportunity and you were gonna have a movie about your life, do you take the movie or do you take the book?
Well, actually, the plan is the book that's translated to the movie. I think the movie, because it would probably reach the masses quicker.
Yeah.
But the book would be more in depth. And I'm really way behind on this project because people have been asking me to write a book for years because of it, the different transitions of my life between the situation I mentioned with my father, then working a job, then being an entrepreneur. At 25 years old, I own this Subway downtown Chicago. Not to mention my street life, which is a whole separate chapter, which really financed some of the things that led me to be who I am. And that's where my entrepreneurial spirit was developed. And it was not out of, greed. It was more of a thing of necessity. I had an older brother who got locked up for an egregious case that, he needed real legal representation. And the only way to get legal is to get money. So my goal was to try to get his sentence reduced and be my own boss. That's the whole thing about entrepreneurs. A lot of us, we resist authority, we don't like structure, and we don't want to work for other people. So that could be your motivating force. If you could combine that with drive and confidence, and you find your passion, all of these factors in a nutshell create a successful individual. And that's my story. That's who I've been. That's why I didn't finish high school the conventional way, because I didn't see the value in it. I'm not saying people shouldn't go to school and go to college. I didn't go to college. I did do a course in cardiology technologist. So I was learning to be an EKG tech.
Okay,
and I did that. So here it is. I get the my certificate. I graduated, tops of my class. I took school very serious because I was paying for it out of my own pocket from selling my own weed. And it's a fact. And so I graduated and I got placed in this hood clinic. And there was this, doctor from either India or the Middle East. You never know. Brown doctor with an accent. My first official patient. I'm doing it by the book, by the numbers. And he's already looking for the test results. Like it should have been quicker than that. So I'm like, sir, I'm doing it and he started yelling at me all crazy, right? And so I had my second patient, same thing, yelling at me. So I went on lunch. Might not even made it to lunch, break. And when I was going on break, the receptionist said, if you're going to be in this biz, you're going to have to get used to that because that's how they talk to us. And I said, well, that ain't how you're going to talk to me. And I quit. I only worked that job one day. I spent 9 months in that course to do that job. And I worked there one day and I quit. And I said, I could go back to selling weed before I had somebody yelling at me. And, that's what it changed my trajectory because I'm so resistant to authority in that sense. But I understand if there are people out there that you have to, play your role and play your part to survive. I'm not knocking that. But if you see an option where you can get out the matrix, jump.
Yeah. I mean, what? Friday, you got fired on your day off. You got fired on your introductory
on my day on. On my day on.
Yeah.
Never got a check. Never got a pay period. Probably didn't even get a ID badge yet.
Yo,
man,
that
talking
happened
crazy,
to me,
man.
That happened to me. It's funny you say that. By the way, man, I'm gonna have a hard time deciding on some clips to use because man, Damon, I don't know if you even realize you done gave us like 4 quotes of like success in life or drive or determination. And I hope people caught that. I think I might have to just clip those separately and we have to call those Damon Williams mantras because you done told us some things.
I used to have a hashtag on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, whatever, called Damonisms. And it was like a daily inspirational quote, just to get people through their day, but not so much about business. But, my philosophy is I'm always optimistic. So I'm a half-full person. And I try to instill that in people, even in the darkest time, the hardest times. Most of the things that you thought you wouldn't get through or seemed like the most dire situation, it's 6 years ago and you're still here. So in the moment, if you can remember that you've gotten past some dark times, know that there's a way to get through it today. So that should prevent you from falling into the doldrums or beating yourself up or even dwelling in the negative era that you're in when you can find joy and light and beauty around you. If you're having the worst day ever, just come out and look at some trees blowing in the wind. That's a beautiful thing, I mean, I'm sure we got stress where you go, wonder how these lights gonna stay on. But if you ain't got the money, they're gonna get cut off anyway. Ain't no sense you being sad and in the dark. You might as well light a candle and smile. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Damon, you picking us up today, brother. You are picking us up. I mean, guy, I didn't know we was gonna get this. So this is just icing on the cake. I gotta ask you some questions. I told you I go to your hometown a lot. Maybe some of these are stereotypes, but I gotta get them in, man. Yo, can you roller skate?
Absolutely.
I believe everybody from Chicago can roller skate. I mean, first of all,
it depends on you.
Is packed, and y'all take it serious, and y'all ain't robot skating either.
Yeah, it depends on how you grew up and what era you grew up in. Anybody, if you saw the movie Roll Bounce, that's why they filmed it here about the skating. It's a skating movie with Bow Wow and Roll Bounce for Chicago. My son's actually in that movie. If you ever watch it, he's the young man who was the leader of the badass boys that was throwing water balloons at Journey Smollett. So, yeah, that's Damon A. Williams, who is now an activist, an artist, a podcast host, and does many things right now. Damon A. Williams, look him up. He has new music just dropped. But he was the little bad kid. So in the 60s, 70s, your parents would drop you off at the roller rink, Saturday or Sunday, either roller rink or movie theater. And that's how they got their private time. I do believe is where siblings came from, is from us being at the rink, Markham roller skate, you know what I'm saying, or the Beverly Theater. That's how you get siblings when your parents drop you off, and they ain't have to worry about you. They ain't have to be there. They can just drop you off, you know, from 12 to 3 on a Saturday, Sunday. And if it was a movie theater back then, it was a double feature. You know, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to watch the karate movie and the black exploitation film. And, you know, you come out, you squinting because you've been in there so long that your eyes ain't used to the light. And then you come home, you have dinner, and that's what the structure was. So skating was a big part of our culture. And if you didn't have the great skates, we had the steel skates, and the ones that when you was really poor, you had the ones you slipped over your shoe and you skated down the block. You had to find a nice smooth asphalt parking lot or street to skate on. So skating, skateboarding were both part of my childhood. So riding bikes, roller skating, and skateboards was how we grew up.
Hey, what is something that nobody knows? You know, like you're in a circle, like maybe you collect, like, I don't know if you can see, I got a He-Man joint right there. I don't know. What's something that nobody knows about you that, I don't know, you just don't lead with it because maybe it don't sell out shows. But since I asked, what's something?
I'm really into cars. Cars are my joy. You know, when I was hustling hard, I always had 4 or 5 cars back in the day. You know, and now that you know, I'm starting to reap the benefits of my shows, I now own 4 cars. You know, and I'm really 5 but a bootleg mechanic has my old school '79 Corvette, and his shop got impounded by the city, and all the vehicles are somewhere, and it's all over the place with this guy. He had my car and my boat. And I talk about this dude. His name is Brother T. I even talked about it on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. People have been following the saga of my boat being took a loose, as he described it, for years. But cars, man, cars. I'm passionate about cars. I sit around all day looking at old school cars on the net, on the gram, and you know, I love vehicles. So I've always been into cars.
Hey, it's summertime. This weekend, somebody inviting you to the cookout. What I want to know is, yo, what you eating, man? When you get that, you're gonna double plate. You're gonna get two paper plates. You gotta double it up because you know you about to put some stuff on. Yo, what you getting first, Damon? What you go for?
I'm piling on the baked beans. First things first.
What?
Baked beans is my staple go-to. These are the only beans that don't give me very severe gas. For one, baked beans are always flavorful. Depending on who made them, they have a little meat in them. Yeah. You know, so we'll start with the baked beans. That's the staple. But I'm looking for your seafood as well. I'm going towards your shellfish, you know, your lobster and crab legs, if you're doing that. But you know, but then chicken, fish, and then the red meat. Because I very rarely eat red meat nowadays. Back in the day, though, I would love to consume, you know, the smoked sausage. I put the smoke in front of it because I want to put that pause right there.
Yeah, you gotta do that. You gotta do that.
The smoked, grilled on the grill sausage.
You clarified that the second time, y'all.
I don't just run in looking for sausage. What I'm trying to tell you, I go baked beans, chicken, fish, shellfish, sausage, then maybe a nice juicy steak. Yeah, not big on the ribs, but because I don't eat pork that much, or really at all. But you know, bacon don't count. Because once you slim it down to stribbles of bacon, that ain't really pork. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't know.
But I do the turkey bacon now. We do turkey products around here. Not to say that's even better because you don't know how they're raising these turkeys nowadays. Just eat what you like. Just do it in moderation. But I'm starting at baked beans, spaghetti, then the meats.
Okay. Yo, now we on it. I'm glad we went through all that. This I know you can't see my sheet. I'm old school. I write it down. Man, yo, Damon, can you cook?
I have select items that I'm capable of cooking, but I think like anything, if I wanted to try it, I could follow a recipe pretty well. Then I put my own flavor on it. Fortunately, I have a wife that is very traditional in a way that, you know, of course she would appreciate if I cooked more, but you know, she can rattle the pots and pans, and she likes to go on TikTok and you know, try new recipes. So I'll look up and I'll see a clip one day, and the next day it's on the tray. So that prevents me from having to cook. And now that we had this conversation, I'm going to make a more concerted effort to cook more around the house for my wife, because this processed food out here is killing us. And I just got all my screenings, which I advise all people to do, not just men, but specifically males. Go out and get your prostate and your colonoscopies, your blood work, you know, your cholesterol checks and things of that nature, just so you can be around, because you're the breadwinner. You know, you don't want to be the guy who left the money for the woman that's on the Tom Joyner cruise flirting with younger dudes. So you want to live, you know, off that insurance money. She let you slide, you know what I'm saying? I told his ass to get a checkup, you know, off your goddamn insurance money. So take care of yourself. But it's best to eat foods you prepare, even though the basic ingredients that we now get even can be somewhat toxic because of how it's mass produced. But you can make a concerted effort to find healthier choices, and it's always better to eat at home.
Damon, I hope there are people who didn't know about you and then they're meeting you for the first time here and I helped them. And then I hope that there's people that a long time know about you and learn something today. But for ongoing participation, how can they follow? And I know there's a lot of social medias, you may not have them all memorized, but how can people follow you? How can they go to right now and what all are you on?
Well, I always tell people, as you see in my caption, to go to DamonWilliamsComedy.com. There are links throughout that. But I'm on Instagram the most, and that's Damon Williams Comedy. But my Facebook is linked to it, so that translates as well. And all of it's under Damon Williams Comedy. Once you type in Damon Williams, I should be the first or second cat that comes up. If it's not me, it's probably my son. There's the one athlete, there's a singer, and there's a professor that are all Damon Williamses. On Twitter, though, I don't have my whole name. It's at Damon William. The S has been taken by somebody else, and I don't know what he's doing with it, but I need to ride out and get that S back. But I'm very active, like I said, on social media.
Damon Williams, he coming.
Yeah.
He coming from that ass.
Yeah, they come, yo. Yeah, coming at that ass. But yeah, I'm real active on social media because that's the climate we're in right now. So I try to be there, and I administer all my pages. There's no social media worker doing that. If you see it on there, I did it. I'm not gonna be able to say, well, my team, you know, dropped the ball on this one. If there's some goofy shit on there said about me, it will say about me, unless I get hacked. And that's always the loophole. If the bullshit is on your page, is to defer to the default, I got hacked.
Hey, you can blame the Russians. You're like, hey, you know them Russian bots.
These bots, the bots, they're everywhere.
They got me. Oh, Putin got me.
Yeah, man.
Or the North Koreans. Just pick a communist cell and blame them.
Indeed.
Hey, before we go, was there anything in particular? Honestly, I felt like you gave us some mantras unintentionally, but is there anything that you knew you wanted to maybe talk about? I know we talked about some upcoming projects, but if you want to hit us with them again, was there any topics, anything that you wanted to get?
Well, let's just go. You know, my motto is laugh tonight, be serious tomorrow. So laughter is important. Laughter is great. I say that at all my shows. You know, don't bring your feelings or your hashtag movements to a comedy show. You come to laugh. Let that laughter take place in any iteration that it has. If my motto also is, if I'm talking about a topic or a subject, even if it's talking about you, you should be able to laugh at it. So, you know, whatever your lifestyle is or who you are or what happens to bleed into your life, if I make a joke about it, hopefully you're laughing too. But projects right now, there's a film we did. It's a spoof on how terrible the early Tubi movies were, you know, how low budget and unedited and improperly shot they were. So we're doing like not another Tubi movie, but it's called Tube-E Movie. And that's coming out very soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Adele Gibbons is in it, B. Cole from Chicago, a bunch of other of my notable Chicago people, shot by director, writer Will Adams. One time we was on the phone, we just talking about Tubi, and he's like, man, I'm gonna do a movie about that. And so he came up with all these great examples of what shouldn't be in a movie, but predominantly the cast is not seeing it. But the main actors that he put in these situations are acknowledging it in such a humorous way. Creative Hustle is coming out. I mentioned Jay Davis with Creative Hustle, and the season 2 has already been shot. That'll be dropping soon. Look for season 1 right now on Tubi. Creative Hustle. It's sketch comedy, it's live music, and it's stand-up. And And other than that, man, like I said, don't forget about my show that's already streaming, Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams. If you search me on Tubi right now, that's my platform. I'm all over that place. So between that and my social media, BET is running the vintage classic comic views from 94 through 96. They just started running those on BET Plus, and they're doing it on BET broadcast. Michael Blackson just last night was watching it, and his hilarious commentary is on my story right now, and I'm gonna put it permanently on my page so people can laugh at it because he's roasting us, mainly me for going from hair to no hair back to hair on the clips. But yeah, so shouts out to all my good friends in the game, man. And I'm just looking forward to keeping people laughing.
Man, yo, David, this was awesome, man. First, I want to say I know you're busy, man. You done told us how busy you are. And yo, you helping a young up and comer. I appreciate you coming on today, man. This was fun. I don't even know where that hour went.
It's fun for me because it's documenting things that these questions trigger memories that may or may not still exist in my brain. Because I mainly remember songs and jokes right now. Incidents and experiences come and go. That's why I document so much on social media. But to revisit my own life and hear my story. When it comes time for me to compile a book, I now know I can go to Donato's spot and, hey, remember the story? Yeah, that's right there. So I do as many of these as possible. I'm also very supportive of the fact that I know when you have a show, you got to have guests. So I say yes to anybody and everybody that asks to do it. Not saying that this is not, personally, I'm choosing you, but I'm trying to do as much as possible to document my legacy and also to have a reminder to look back at when I'm sitting around the house, hopefully, or on a boat somewhere with my feet up and thinking about looking back on my life.
Yeah. Yo, Damon, thanks for lifting us up. I'm thanking for everybody before they even get in the comments, because I like some of the things you said, man. And thank you for your time again. Thanks for talking with Donato.
Man, talking with Donato. Y'all better do it. Talk with Donato as often as possible. Follow, like, share, subscribe, all of these podcasts, baby.
I appreciate that. We'll see you.
Yep.